guys, today's lesson is 4.4D and it is explaining your thinking with story problems and multiplication. So, I want to talk to you about this paper that has to do with explaining your thinking. Now, I want you to look at it and it says, answer the following questions for each problem. What is the question asking you to answer? Number 2, what information from the problem is going to help you answer that question? And number 3, explain your thinking in words on what you would do to solve the problem. So let's look at these story problems. Number 1 says, Sherry has, there's no money amount there. Blank money in her piggy bank. Samantha has saved, again, there's no numbers there. X times as much money. How much money have Sherry and Samantha saved together? Well, wait a minute. There's no numbers there. How am I going to solve this problem? Well, that's what today's lesson is about. It's not about the numbers. It's about what is the process that you're going to go through in order to get to the right answer. So it doesn't really matter what numbers we put in there. It matters what we do in order to get to that place. So the first thing I'm going to look at is, I'm going to go back here. What is the question asking you to answer? So when I write on number 1, when I go back and look, I can see that the question is asking me how much money did they both save all together. So, how much money did Sherry and Samantha save together? Okay, so that is the question that I'm trying to answer. So I'm going to use these clues in this story problem to help me figure out how much money did those two girls save together. All right, question number 2 says, what information from the problem is going to help me answer that question? Well, I need to know how much money Sherry has in her piggy bank, right? So, how much money is in Sherry's piggy bank? Okay, so how much money is in Sherry's piggy bank? Is that all I need to know? No? I need to know how many times more does Samantha have than Sherry has. So I need to know how many times more money does Samantha have than Sherry? So, I need to know how much Sherry has in her piggy bank, and I need to know how many times more does Samantha have than Sherry. So, how am I going to solve this problem? Well, I'm going to take how many times Samantha has, and I'm going to multiply it by how much Sherry has in her piggy bank. So, I'm going to take, I will take how many times Samantha has and multiply Sherry's amount. But am I finished? If I take Samantha's times, let's say she has 6 times more than Sherry, and I say, okay, 6 times Sherry's amount, that's only going to give me Samantha's amount. So I need to figure out how much Samantha has by multiplying how many times more she has than Sherry, and then I need to add Sherry's and Samantha's amount together. Then add Sherry's amount with Samantha's amount. So let's say Sherry has $3 in her piggy bank. This is Sherry's. And let's say Sam has 4 times as much as Sherry. So I would say 3 times 4 is $12. That is only going to give me Sam's amount. So I have to take Sherry's amount plus Sam's amount to give me the total amount that they would have. But I have to think about first, what am I going to do if I don't have any numbers? And there is a way to solve it. But I have to figure out what is the question asking and what information in here am I going to use to solve it. So let's look at the next one. Okay, so each roll of stamps has 0 stamps, X amount of stamps. Jerome bought so many rolls of stamps, and Henry bought so many rolls of stamps. How many stamps did Jerome and Henry buy? Well, what am I trying to find out? How many stamps Jerome and Henry bought? That's what I'm trying to find out. That is the question that I'm trying to solve. Okay, let's go back in here. Each roll of stamps has X amount of stamps. Okay? Jerome bought so many stamps and Henry bought so many rolls of stamps. So I need to probably first know how many rolls of stamps did Jerome and Henry buy all together, right? So, how many rolls of stamps both boys bought all together? Is that going to get me the answer of how many stamps they bought? No, that's only going to tell me how many rolls they bought. Then I have to figure out, well, how many stamps are in each row? How many stamps in each row? So, how am I going to solve this problem? Well, I'm going to add maybe Jerome's amount of rolls and Henry's amount of rolls together. Add Jerome and Henry's stamp rolls together. Still doesn't tell me how many stamps. Okay. What about if I take the total amount of rolls and multiply it by how many stamps are in each roll? Take the total amount of rolls and multiply that number by the number of stamps in each roll. Now, there's another way to solve this. I could take how many rolls Jerome has and multiply it by how many stamps are in a roll. Then I could probably take the number of rolls that Henry has and multiply it by how many stamps are in each row, and then add those two amounts together. Or, to me, this is a simpler way. add the number of rolls together, and then multiply it by how many stamps are in each roll. All right, let's look at the last one. Oh, I think I have a couple more. All right. On Friday, some people visited the zoo. So more people visited the zoo on Saturday, and it was so many times more than the people who visited on Friday. How many people visited the zoo on Friday and Saturday? So I'm looking for how many people visited the zoo on Friday and Saturday. Okay, so what do I know? Well, I know some people visited the zoo on Friday. So I know the number of people who visited on Friday. And Saturday's number is X times how many on Friday. So Friday has a number. Saturday was that number times so many. Does that make sense? Okay, so how am I going to get the answer? Well, I'm going to take Friday's number and multiply it by the times many more times many more to get Saturday's number. So if I take Friday's number and multiply it by however many times more for Saturday, the only answer it's going to give me is Saturday's number. So I've got to go back and I've got to add Friday's number. So then I'm going to take the answer for Saturday and add to Friday's number. Because if I take Friday's number and multiply it by however many times more came on Saturday, then the only answer I'm going to have then is the Saturday's number. Okay? Let's do the last one. I hope you're understanding. Guys, it's not so much the numbers. It is what are you going to do with the information that you have. So the first thing you have to figure out is what is that question asking you to do? And then from that, you can take and pull out all the information in that story problem that's going to help you get to that answer. So Janice bought so many bags of peanuts and so many bags of pretzels. If each bag of peanuts holds so many peanuts and each bag of pretzels holds so many pretzels, how many peanuts and pretzels did she buy? So what I'm trying to find out, I guess, is how many peanuts and pretzels, not bags, but how many peanuts and pretzels did she buy? So how many peanuts and pretzels did she buy? Well, how am I going to solve this? Well, I've got to figure out how many bags of peanuts she had and how many peanuts were in each bag. So I'm going to take the bags of peanuts and many peanuts in each bag. And then I'm going to figure out bags of pretzels and how many pretzels in each bag. So how am I going to solve this and find out how many peanuts and pretzels she has? Well, I'm going to take the number of bags of peanuts and multiply by how many peanuts are in each bag. That will be the first step. So I'm going to take number of bags of peanuts and multiply by the number of peanuts in each bag for the total. So I'm going to take the number of peanuts in each bag and multiply by the number of bags of peanuts, and then I'm going to get that total. Then I've got to figure out the pretzels. So then the number of bags of pretzels and multiply by the number of pretzels in each bag for the total. Am I finished? No. The question says, how many peanuts and pretzels did she buy? I have my peanuts answer and I have my pretzels answer. What am I going to do? Now add the total number of peanuts to the total number of pretzels. Okay, guys, you have just solved problems without numbers in them. It wasn't about the numbers. It was about thinking your thinking, explaining your thinking. What does the problem want you to do? What information is in the problem that's going to help you get the answer? And what is the process that you're going to use in order to get the answer? And in this case, it's multiple steps. So again, today's lesson was 4.4D, and it was basically problem solving and explaining your thinking. See y'all later.